Hello there and welcome. So what do you do when you need to write something and you've got writer's block? I bet you've come across that. I just wrote an article for my newsletter yesterday about writer's block and the fact that I often have it every single Monday when I do my article for my newsletter. And then on the same day, a client of mine in a session mentioned her writer's block. And I thought that I would do this little video with a little bit of tapping for if you are suffering from that condition. So the client in my session, was talking about she had to update her website or put her details on a central sort of website for therapists. And maybe for you, it's not that, but here's anything that could evoke writer's block. It's something like maybe you need to write an article, or a Facebook post, or an Instagram post, or you need to update your website, you need to write a sales page, you need to write your about page, your newsletter, like I suffer with it every single week, or reaching out to a client and you need to find just the right words, or perhaps putting yourself on a central website, like a coaching website, where you feel like you need to present yourself in the best possible way so people will find you. Any of those, I invite you to think about what happens for you when you need to do something like that, when you hit writer's block. So we're going to do a little bit of tapping together on various aspects of this. So before we start, of course, always just a little few words of wisdom. I'm not with you in a session, so please take responsibility for yourself and for your tapping. If you get really intense, keep tapping, or you can pause or stop and then reach out to somebody who can support you to get through the intensity. And I'm not with you, so I can't, guide you individually as if you were here with me with your particular root issue. But we're going to do the best we can with some of the general things that happen for people around writer's block. So imagine for a moment that you're sitting there, maybe in front of your computer or with your notepad, and now you're going to start writing. Notice what happens for you as you think about that. What are your thoughts? What emotions pop up for you? What sensations pop up for you in your body? What do you experience? So just notice and jot down on a little piece of paper for yourself, what are all these things? And then give it a number, an intensity. Like, is it like if there's a huge resistance, like I can't do it, it's 8 out of 10. So just give it a little number out of 10. 0 is nothing, no intensity, and 10 is the most intense you can think of. So having jotted that down, look at all of that, just sort of, experience it again in your body. And then we're going to just do a general round of tapping. And just a word from my side is I may tap on points that you're not familiar with, so just do what's right for you. I may use words that you're not familiar with because I know many forms of tapping. So just do what's right for you, but just keep tapping. It's the tapping that does the work, not really the words. So look again at your piece of paper and what you jotted down there if you had a chance. How does it feel when you want to write and you hit this thing called writer's block? So tap with me. I'll tap on the side of the hand to start, and then I'll go through a round on all the points and right through to the finger point. So I'm going to use words that you can say as well if you just look at your piece of paper. So even though this is what I'm thinking, feeling, and experiencing, I soothe and comfort myself. Even though this is how I feel, these are my emotions, and this is what I think, I soothe and comfort myself. Usually we do it 3 times on the side of the hand, so this is the last one. Even though these are my feelings, thoughts, and emotions, when I think about writing that piece that I need to write, I soothe and comfort myself. This is what I'm thinking. And you can even say some of your thoughts out loud if you want. This is what I'm feeling. These are my emotions when I think about writing. And I'm just acknowledging that for now. This is what I'm thinking and feeling. And these are my thoughts. And this is what happens for me when I try and write. And then under the arm point, you probably won't see it on the side of the body. These thoughts are what I'm having when I think about writing. And then just drop your arms, just rest them, have a nice deep breath in and out. Oh, good. I had a lovely sigh there. You probably noticed. Right. So now I'm going to bring in a few more specific words, phrases that I've heard often from people and that I experience myself. And we're just going to tap through a few rounds of that. And then just we'll check in a bit later with how you're doing around writer's block. So even though writer's block has hit, I soothe and comfort myself. Even though I've got this fear about being seen and heard, because that's something I often hear from people when I want to write. I don't want to be seen, I don't want to be heard. I've got a fear of that. I soothe and comfort myself. And even though I don't want people to see or hear me, I soothe and comfort myself. I've got this fear of being seen and heard. I'm terrified of being seen or heard. If I'm seen or heard, somebody will judge me. Somebody might criticize me. Somewhere there will be a mean, nasty person who has horrible things to say about my writing. I'm afraid of public humiliation. If I write that post or write down my thoughts, somebody will criticize it in public, and that's going to be really cringeworthy. And I don't want to have to deal with that. I'll be ashamed if somebody calls me out in public. There might be conflict. Somebody might be really aggressive in public, and I hate that. And maybe I did have a bad experience in the past with somebody doing that to me. So of course I'm going to feel like this now. And again, I didn't go through a second whole round, but just let's pause here. So just rest your arms, take a nice deep breath in and out. And just notice what is present for you right now. So I can't check in with you personally, but just notice if your sense of intensity is coming down, is it going up, is it staying the same? Have thoughts popped up for you? Maybe a memory of a particular time that somebody did criticize you, judge you, call you out in public. Can be a memory from a very long time ago. Could be sometime at school. And these things can still affect us now. I want to let you know how often it happens in a session, in a client session. We're busy tapping and somebody says, I just remembered something that happened when I was 7. And then we can use that as material to tap through some of the fear, because that thing that happened sits in our subconscious mind, our body, our amygdala in the midbrain tries to protect us, and it will prevent us from putting ourselves in the same unsafe situation. So of course we're going to be afraid, or we're going to get writer's block. So another little piece I thought we could tap through is some of the rules that we have for ourselves. And by rules, I mean it's a should. There's so many shoulds I've heard from people. So let's tap through a few of these, and perhaps it rings true for you as well. I should be over my writer's block by now. I should not be finding it this hard to write, because I really enjoy writing. But I'm finding it so hard, and I should not find it so hard. I should know how to do this by now. I should be better at this by now. I should be able to string a few words together. Why can't I do this? I should be able to write provocative, persuasive copy for my website. I should be able to influence people with my words. I should be able to write in a way that makes people want to sign up with me immediately. I should know how to present myself in a piece of writing. I should be able to write about myself and feel good about it. I'm a smart person. I should be able to figure this out. And again, just rest your arms, take a nice deep breath in. Whew. And if anything in there really hit you hard, or it really, maybe it brought a little tear or a bit of sadness or a bit of recognition on your side, I'd invite you to just pause the video and tap through some of those emotions, or perhaps replay it and use that piece again and just tap through it and really get to a place of calmness about the piece that really hit for you. And right now, I'm just going to move on to another little bit of tapping about how we put ourselves down sometimes. And the type of self-talk that we can use can really, really make it hard for us to feel open, calm, and enjoying our writing as well. So let's look at the next pieces about putting ourselves down with the way we talk to ourselves. So I don't always start on the side of the hand point, so we can sometimes just continue our tapping. So that's what I'm doing right now. So some of these words may be triggering for you, so I invite you to just keep tapping. If they are triggering for you, you know you've hit on something that needs a little bit more work. So keep tapping. You're doing great. So maybe this rings true for you. I'm so dumb. Why can't I figure this out? I'm such a dumb person for not being able to figure this out yet. What makes me think that I can do this? What makes me so special that I should be able to write about this topic? Who am I to think that I can write about something that other people would want to read? I feel like I'm just not good enough to write about this. I'm just not good enough. I'm not allowed to write about this. I don't have the authority. I'm not credible enough. I don't deserve for people to read my writing. How do I know what people will respond to? Who am I to write about this? I'm feeling like a fraud. I haven't overcome all my issues yet. So why should people learn or listen to me when I write? The pressure is on me to make this good enough. All this enormous pressure to make it good enough. Or maybe it's enormous pressure to make it excellent. And I can never measure up to my own standards. Or maybe I compare myself to somebody else's writing, to Adam Grant or Brené Brown, or those people with professional editors. All this comparison that I'm doing. And I'm just not measuring up to those wonderful people. Maybe I'll make typos. I see all my typos and I think, oh, this is horrible writing. Or maybe you read your work and you go, oh, this is not good enough. This is terrible. Maybe you talk to yourself in that way. This is terrible. This is horrible writing. Who will want to read this? All these mean, mean things that I say to myself. Why on earth would I want to write if this is the kind of thing I'm saying to myself? Of course, I'm not going to want to write when this is the kind of thing that I say to myself. All these mean, mean things that I say to myself. Maybe it's time for me to have a different approach here. Maybe it's time for me to start being kind to myself. Of course, it is vulnerable to put my thoughts out there in the world where other people can read it, where other people can see it, where they can judge me, criticize me because of their own thoughts in their minds. maybe it's time for me to be kind to myself about how hard this is. Maybe I can start approaching this in a different way. Maybe I can be willing to start supporting myself instead of breaking myself down even further. So all these things that we tapped through today, some of them may really ring true for you, and some of them may not be so true for you. So I'd really, and just keep on tapping while I'm talking to you now. So pause the video or replay it or go through the whole thing again. Make notes about the pieces that were really, really hard hitting for you. And go through that again and do a couple of rounds on that one piece or that one aspect, because that's the piece that may be preventing you from just enjoying your writing. So we'll just finish off here. Just finish the round and all the finger points. And then rest your arms again and have a nice deep breath in and out. You know what, when we're writers or authors or article writers, bloggers, there's always more personal growth to do around the topic of writing. I find that the more I write, the easier it becomes, but sometimes it's just not flowing. Some days are harder than others, and that's okay too. So I wish you happy writing. I hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you for watching and listening. My name is Liesl Teversham, and I work with sensitive introverts. Many of them write or they express themselves easier in writing than in talking. So yeah, reach out if you need any support or if you have more ideas about what I could include in videos. I'd love to hear from you, and see you on the next video.